part.
Okay, so for technology, we learned, we all discussed that we learned about green screen because we really experienced green screen, and with Google for like all the Google things, I guess. And iMovie, especially with like our digital stories, and for like editing iMovie, I guess. For science, which basically means like our STEM kind of. We talked about like every single thing that we did for STEM, like STEM cars, our perfect pandemics, our element heroes, our Rube Goldberg machines, and how our body fights off sickness. I don't know, it was really fun. And then like social injustices and periodic tables. For ULA, we talked about like public speaking, presenting, note cards, essays, short stories, and stuff like that. For skills, we didn't have a bunch of skills, but we did like trust. Colin brought up like trust falls, which is an example of that. Speaking, like at our showcases and our pre-showcases, and communication skills, like whenever we do advisory or we do design challenges. And then at the very bottom is our electives, I guess. Very bottom is our electives, and we learned a bunch of stuff like during PE, like a bunch of different sports. And in orchestra, we learned more skills since we were in the 7th grade orchestra. And for our math, we learned a lot. We learned a lot about like pre-algebra, multiplying, fractions. Colin brought up pi for Pi Day. We have scale, area, perimeter. We try to think about everything in like 10 marks, and that's probably what we went back to, and from STEM. So for our social studies, we mostly went towards our government and what we did for government. So like our UN simulation, our Kisses games that we did with like wages and jobs, and then different government types around the world, and then our money in different countries and what it says about different countries, I guess. We created our own countries, and when we did that, we learned about longitude and latitude, and we learned a game called Game Theory, which was really fun, which is basically kind of how the game works a little bit. So, on our field studies, we did a lot of skills, which we got that a lot from our field studies, but we learned history from museums, learned curling, we presented our social injustices at UWL. We did hiking and canoeing, and that was really fun. Yeah.